Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bagels and Locks. I am your host, Brandon Rothberg, alongside my co-host today, Jason Silverstone.
Just today, though.
Jason, just today. Not
special episode.
None of the previous episodes really counted. Like, today's the only one.
Yeah.
But listen, it's been probably the most fulfilling time in between episodes that we've had. Some excitement, a lot of news, a lot of things going on, right? First things first, baseball is back, finally.
Yes.
There's a lot of people out there that probably aren't as excited as me, but regardless, it is back. People can bet on it. People will soon be able to bet on the NBA. It's a great time to be alive, and sports are back. Things are on the come up, and we're looking good.
It's lit, bro. I'm very, very excited about it. We can finally stop talking about these goddamn negotiations between the MLB PA and the owners. It finally got figured out. We'll be breaking down all of that for you guys later on in the episode. We're also talking about the NBA schedule that got released, little 2K news, some players withdrawing from Orlando, as well as the upcoming MLB season. Emoni Bates, if you guys don't know who that is, definitely stick around, especially if you're a Spartan fan. Cam Newton went to the New England Patriots, and the Red Wings got royally fucked over in the NFL draft lottery. So we got a big episode this week for you guys. But first things first, Brandon, last time we talked with the viewers, you let them know that you're going on a golf trip. So how was your trip, buddy?
Well, clearly it was all right. I came back alive. I didn't get that, pissed off on the golf course. Threw a club maybe once or twice. But it was a great time. We played Crooked Tree. Some of our listeners who might be avid golfers, they may know of that course. Crooked Tree and Bay Harbor, and we played the Moore course as a part of the Boyne Resort. But it was awesome. I never played 36 holes in one day before, and we did that on Thursday. I was able to handle it totally fine. We had a few hours in between, some lunch, drink here and there. It was nice. It was a good time. Great weather and good golf. I played pretty well. I was happy with myself because it's a lot. 4 rounds of golf in 3 days. I mean, your average person. You're
out there.
Yes, you're out there, and it's warm, but it was beautiful. It was right along Lake Michigan, and we had a really good time. Still a lot of golf left to be played, and hopefully I can go back up there and take that trip again. But I highly suggest going up north and playing some golf. But and getting some fudge. Of course, I had to get a whole bunch of fudge, the goodies, everything. I had to get it all. I got them still. But what's good with you, Jay? What's going on? What's new?
Well, as of Thursday, I finally finished those last 2 classes for Michigan State that I've been talking about for a long time, pretty much every episode of this show. So I'm now an alumnus of Michigan State University. That's pretty exciting.
Congratulations. Join the club.
Thank you, brother. And I trimmed my beard, and I think I did a pretty good job. I think I'm looking pretty sharp. Isn't it looking good? It's looking a little better than usual.
No, now that you say that, it looks horrible. No,
thank you.
Good. It looks really good. I like it.
And I actually got a good amount of snaps from the boys for BHG, Backwards Hat Gang. So all you guys out there suffering with long hair, appreciate the snaps. Even if you got short hair, appreciate the Snapchats and photos we've been getting. Hashtag BHG, Backwards Hat Gang, baby. Keep it up, boys.
Backwards Hat Game. Yes, sir. Represent it well and represent it strong. But, on the topic of conversations of backwards hat gang, sometimes tends to be a tongue twister. There is no backwards hat gang in Major League Baseball. You got to wear that cap forward. We're going to go right into it here today. Jason, first things first, I'm ecstatic. I could say that a million times, but it's great. Even though we got half the season pretty much on our hands, we still have baseball. There is the potential fear because we're seeing it with the NBA and the major leagues that a lot of guys are already withdrawing from play. Just to name a few names, so already in the majors we have Ryan Zimmerman, who decided that he's not going to be playing this season, which makes sense. I'd heard something that he basically picked up like or turned down a club option. So his contract, he's making like 2 million, and with the prorated salaries and everything, he'd only be making like 500,000 for 60 games. So like if you're more concerned over like the safety of your family and whatnot and yourself, for him it doesn't matter. He's fresh off a World Series win. Between Zimmerman, Mike Leake, he's a pitcher for the Diamondbacks, and Tyson Ross is a pitcher for the Nationals. These are three names that have already decided they won't be playing, but that's all right. There are a whole bunch of crazy rules that Major League Baseball has put in place. So, Jason, if you want to kind of show everybody what MLB has decided to go with here with some of these key things to know.
Yeah, I was just want to go back to talking about the players that aren't playing. Are they still getting paid, or is it like they turned down that salary for that season? Because like aren't they technically under contract? So how does that work? Or are you not sure?
I'm not exactly sure. I would think that there's some sort of clause that would you would think there's a clause that like allows them to maybe get some sort of pay, like you're not just completely backing out. Like if Mike Trout, for example, was like, I'm not playing, like he would be losing out on millions still. So that's a great question. Not a good question for me. Maybe we can hit up Rob Manfred, although his email and phone line has been banging over the last month and a half.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure though.
And then another thing I saw was like I saw Ryan Zimmerman's tweet about it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh and like I totally respect his decision to not play and with all this the you know the way the world is right now and everything. But there's just one part at the end of his tweet that like super bothered me where it was like I'm pulling as hard as anyone for us to like repeat as, champions. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, dude, you're not. Like if you were, you'd be playing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're clearly not pulling as hard as everyone else on the team is, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's his choice. I totally respect it and totally understand it. But
Yeah. And it's not like the Nationals are going to get shelled if Zimmerman's not in the lineup, but
exactly.
still.
So, anyways, back to the key things to know here. Um, we got players and personnel will be tested every other day. Antibody tests will be conducted once a month. There will be a COVID injury list, and then anyone who tests positive will not be allowed to return until they test negative twice. Also, teams will be playing in their home stadiums. There's no schedule just yet, but apparently the Yankees will be playing on ESPN opening day against the Nationals.
Mm-hmm.
None of these, rules or anything really surprise me. I think it's, pretty smart, pretty standard compared to what the other leagues seem to be doing, at least with soccer around the world and basketball coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't disagree. You have to be tested every other day. It sounds like a lot, and I have yet to be tested, but I'm sure we all know what it's a swab and it's uncomfortable, but when you're making that kind of money and you get the chance to be playing baseball again, taking 3 seconds out of your day to be tested every other day isn't that big of a deal. I find the antibody test being conducted once a month pretty interesting, solely because we just don't know that much about it still. And, how much does that necessarily tell us? And clearly, if it's only being done once a month, that seems like it's sort of in agreement with what I'm saying. I did hear that with this COVID injury list that players there's not like a specific amount of time that a player can be on there, which that doesn't make sense because you're supposed to quarantine for 14 days if you have it, right? So you would think there's a minimum of 14 days that you're on this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Supposedly that's maybe not the case, but like the other rule says, you have to test negative twice in order to to be allowed to play again.
Yeah, well,
And
perhaps that injury list is like after the 14 days. They like take it into account, like it's a mandatory 14, and then if they're still symptomatic or they're still not feeling well, then they get put on the list.
sure. Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. I was also going to say that the original 15-day IL used to be DL, and then they changed it to IL, the injured list. That got moved down to 10 days. Makes sense. I mean, 15, but you're like already talking a quarter of the season there. So some of the other things, though, is that teams will be reporting July 1st, which is tomorrow, or how many
Yeah,
days are there
it's
in June?
tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow. Perfect. So teams will be reporting
Maybe today if
tomorrow.
you're listening to this.
Right. July 1st, teams will be reporting. And opening day is July 23rd and 24th. So there will be 60 games. 40 of those games will be between the divisions, within the divisions, I should say, and then 20 of them will be interleague. So basically what this means is, take the Tigers, for example. The Tigers will be playing 40 games against other teams within the AL Central, and will be playing 20 games against teams within the National League Central, which, by the way, will have a universal DH now, which is very interesting considering for years and years the National League and American League have been rather different, and this rule didn't apply. So it'll be very cool to see how teams in the National League will use this new rule to their benefit. And the trade deadline will be August 31st. And something new, and this is a rule that they use in the minor leagues now that they recently implemented. There will be an automatic runner on second base during the regular season extra inning games. So I don't know. How do you feel about that one, Jason?
Yeah,
I'm not in love with it.
I really like it actually. I think it's probably just because I've been watching a good amount of KBO, as our longtime listeners know, and they don't use that rule in that league, but I think it's like after I'm pretty sure it's 3 innings, they do like 3 extra innings, and then like if it's a tie, it's just a draw. But like if whoever's up at the end of those 3 innings, obviously wins the game. But I kind of like it. It makes it a little more exciting, a little more intense with the extra innings. And we might hate it at first, but I think it'll be something we might sort of get used to and sort of actually want to see.
Yeah. Well, I think it's only being done to to keep a time limit, right? So
Yeah, I mean,
this way.
go
Right.
on. I'm sorry.
Well, no. You knew where I was getting at. Was like they want this to speed up the process of the game, because who knows, an extra inning game sometimes could end in the 18th inning, and they probably don't want guys out there for that long, considering the virus and whatnot. So in the time setting right now, it does make sense, but it's a little bit frustrating for a diehard baseball fan who finds this rule coming in out of nowhere. They did mention too that bullpen pitchers, anyone who comes into relief, has to face 3 batters minimum. So you can't bring
Why?
in.
Oh,
Well,
because they don't want to wear them
that's
out, I guess.
no. It's so
Like,
like that slows down the game, right? So if you're the Yankees and you have Dallin Betances, who's actually not in the Yankees anymore, he's with the Mets. If you have
so if you're
Betances
the
come in,
Mets,
so if you're the Mets and you have Betances come in to face one batter, and then you have a righty who's coming in to face a lefty. Like, you can't just have Betances face one guy and then take him out. He's got to face 3 guys.
I think that rule is actually stupid.
It's a
What if
little
he's getting
stupid.
rocked? Like, what if he just gives up 3 straight home runs? Like, what if he gives up 2 straight home runs and you're just like, I need to get this guy out of here, and you can't?
He's got to
Like,
face one more guy.
that sucks.
Yeah, yeah. It goes either way. I like the opposite of that rule. I don't like a guy having to face 3 players, because you can use it to your advantage, but it definitely slows down the game a little bit. I will say that. So there are, in addition to everything that's new in the season happening rather quickly, there are some weird rule changes So spitting is prohibited everywhere, which makes sense, but this includes sunflower seeds. I have been playing baseball ever since I was little. I have been munching on sunflower seeds during baseball games ever since I was little. So has everyone in the major leagues. This will be probably the hardest rule to break.
100%. No, well,
this will be the easy. Yes,
yeah,
the hardest rule to break.
Hardest rule to follow.
The hardest rule to follow.
There you go.
There's just no way. There's no way. You know how many times outfielders you have a back pocket, and 90,000% of the time you have sunflower seeds in there. You get bored in the outfield. Let me just tell you that. You get bored out there, and now you can't choose sunflower seeds. These guys are going to be pissed. But gum is allowed, which is nice.
But there's already been gum like allowed at the same time. You know what I mean? Like there's gum guys and then there's seed guys, and the seed guys might have a really hard time adapting, especially if they've been consuming seeds all summer long. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well, here's this. It does get easier for the people that have to clean up afterwards because, one, there won't be fans in the stadium. But, two, those dugouts get dirty. Yeah. Sunflower seeds everywhere. Gum wrapper. The gum wrappers will still be there. But sunflower seeds, that gets a little dirty from time to time. But that is going to be a hard rule to follow. I can guarantee you that. I would love to be, a fly on the wall in the locker room during a post-game press conference or something, because I would love to find that out from players. Like, what are their thoughts on that?
I'm sure they're upset. There's no way they're, like, happy about it. Come on.
No. It's really tough. Tough for the game of baseball. Pitchers can have a small wet rag in their back pocket. Wet rag, not a rag with pine tar. I don't think that will happen. But just know it's got to be a little wet with water. No fighting is allowed. So I didn't think anything of this. I literally didn't think anything of this. And then I remembered no one has played the Astros yet.
Yeah.
No one.
Well, I also think, the seeds rule is going to be really hard to follow, but this might be the hardest rule to follow just for Yasiel Puig.
Yeah,
I mean, he gets in a couple fights a year. Like, he's crazy. So hopefully, I mean, if someone gets hit with a pitch, like, how do you, they just like don't.
How do you handle that?
Yeah,
it could just be like and then like
Yeah.
Like in the last 3 years, I can already think of a lot of bad blood that's happened between teams. We remember the Tigers and Yankees brawl, which is funny because that started because Cabrera and Austin Romine, who was the Yankees catcher at the time, brothers with Andrew Romine, who used to be the Tigers utility man. He's not with us anymore. But the Tigers signed Austin Romine in the offseason. So he is a catcher on our team now. So there's no bad blood there. I wonder how that panned out through spring training and whatnot. But yes, the biggest thing here is the Astros. And for a lot of baseball fans, for a lot of sports fans in general, people who didn't care about baseball ever, this whole Astros scandal drops. They were looking forward to teams playing them because we wanted to see what's going to happen. And we know players are pissed. Trevor Bauer, first name that comes to mind, hates them. But you got to figure everyone else that is a pitcher or is in the major leagues kind of hates the Astros right now. So how is that all going to play out? I really can't wait to see. But it's tough because there's no fans. So that, to me, totally takes away from what could have been. But that only means that when fans come back in the stadiums, that it'll be that much better. It'll be that much worth it. That much more worth it. And then no pregame exchange of lineup cards. There will be no player interactions within 6 feet of players at the opposing team. So
how does that work if there's a runner on first?
Pregame.
Oh, okay.
It was like no.
Okay.
Yes, but no pregame exchange of lineup cards and no pregame player interactions. But I mean, you do bring up a good point there. We've seen over the years, Miguel Cabrera is super playful over there at first. I'm sure you remember Adrian Beltre, who retired, but used to hate getting messed with, people touching his head and his helmet. He hated that, and Miggy would always mess with him. So it's guys are gonna make adjustments quick on the fly. I mean, think about being around your friends, being around everyone, and the instantaneous like ooh like we used to dab each other up, like used to like hug it out, but like you can't.
Yeah.
And I thought at first that was gonna be really hard to follow, but we kind of got used to it quick. So I think those same nuances that it's all gonna carry over between in all sports with high fives and things like that, which is tough. It's a bummer.
Yeah. Most definitely. It'll certainly be a change, that's for sure. Something we're not used to. But I think that does it for our baseball coverage, unless you have anything else you want to add real quickly.
No, I was just gonna say that if the Tigers are playing, if teams are playing at home, their home stadiums, I wonder because if you're outside of Comerica Park, it's easy to look through, right?
Oh, I'm sure
Like if
people are
you're
going to be doing it. And there's that parking garage by left field that
there's there's a
people are going to go
whole
to.
bunch of them. So it's going to be interesting considering one that baseball is returning July 1st and games are going to be played at their home ballparks. I know myself, I'm for sure going down there. I will for sure see if there's maybe any interviews with someone I could get or like not player wise, but like I'm just curious to see like what the fans think.
Yeah.
And at the same time, kind of peek through the fence and watch the Tigers play. So
I
the
mean,
Blues.
in the I hate to bring it up again, but in the KBO, I forget which team, it might have been Hanwha. They have a parking garage like right outside right field, and there's like 20 people like just in the garage watching the game. It's
Dang.
crazy.
You saying that like it's not a lot because 20 people to me doesn't.
I'm just
I don't.
saying like
There's
people go
people.
they're also a little more strict in Korea and they have like way less people there, but that
Yeah.
I'm just saying people make the effort to go, and this was back when the KBO started in April. So, I mean, people are going to go and you'll see people there.
Yeah.
Can't
For
stop
sure.
them.
No. All right, baby. Let's go. Baseball is back. I can't wait to see the schedules announced, and yeah, I'm really excited. But we got basketball coming up sooner than later too, Jay, and the new schedules drop.
We do, but before we get to that, it's game time, baby. Damian Lillard
Yes.
was named the cover athlete of NBA 2K21, but it is only for current gen consoles, meaning he will only be on the cover for PS4 and the Xbox One. And there will obviously be a Legend Edition, who we don't know who it is yet. People are saying Kobe. And then
Mm,
we will have a different cover athlete for NBA 2K21 on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X and another Legend Edition. My thoughts are we're going to get a Legend Edition Kobe in number 8 for the current gen, and we're going to get Legend Edition Kobe in 24 for the next gen. But it's still up in the air as to who the next gen cover athlete will be. And I
yeah.
think that kind of you go on, I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say to me that sounds like that's totally the case. When I saw though that Dame was announced as the cover athlete, I thought, well, it's not that surprising, but everyone thought it was gonna be Kobe until I saw that like you had said that there were several covers to be announced, a
Mm-hmm.
couple of Legend editions in there. So without a doubt, we know they're gonna be Kobe. I'm curious to see what like this edition's got to gonna be crazy. Like the Legend edition, it's not just gonna be like you get like 20,000 extra VC or like a theme, like something. They're gonna go hard on this. I think they got it. How can you
Yeah.
not?
I mean, I just don't know what else you really
There
do,
it is.
you know. But I guess that's up to the good people at 2K. But I'd kind of be a little upset if I was Damian Lillard because, all the new consoles are coming out this holiday season. So, I mean, he's on the cover for a couple months, and then everyone's, the majority of the sales are probably going to be on this new console. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
it's like obviously a huge honor and a big deal, and a lot of guys, dream of being on the cover of 2K. But I
But
don't know,
no
he got
one's gonna want
shafted a
that.
little.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Jason. I think everyone's gonna want that Kobe cover, and Dame's gonna be, not really on the radar for most people. They want that elusive Kobe 2K21 legendary game. Do you know when it comes out, by the way? Is it September? I think they usually come out in
I think it's like September, like either in the beginning or middle of September. It's always a couple weeks before my birthday, which is like the
okay.
very beginning of October.
So it'll
So,
be interesting because
but
this is also
they might push it back because Madden, due to the coronavirus and everything, like EA
mhm.
Sports, they had to have everyone work at home and stuff. So it sort of has like delayed their production and everything. So they usually release, uh, I think like at the end of July. And I think now it's like in the middle or end of August. Like it's like a whole month they pushed it back because of, everyone having to
Because of
work
the
from
virus.
home.
I
So
thought
it's,
Madden was always like an August release game.
it was, and then they moved it up. So now it's being pushed back again.
Okay. Yeah, well, I was thinking that it's interesting because this will be like the first time where you have a guy like in the NBA and 2K where you have a cover athlete released while the season is still happening. I mean, it doesn't
Wow,
mean
yeah.
much. It doesn't necessarily like affect any sort of play, but
Uh,
I'm just curious because now like we could know Dame's thoughts. Like while the season's going on, he'll be playing at the
hmm
not the Grand. Oh no, maybe the Grand Floridian. I think he's playing at the
No,
Grand
I
Floridian.
think he's at the
Or
yacht club.
staying. You think he's at the Yacht Club?
Yeah,
What was? I thought Yacht Club was the third
yeah, it's
worst.
the worst one.
They're the worst. Oh, I thought the Blazers
I
were
mean,
the
who knows?
Floridian.
They're definitely
Who
not at the
knows?
Grandestino Tower, though.
They
That's all
they
we know.
no. We know that, and odds are they probably won't be the last team hanging out at the Floridian or the Yacht Club wherever they are staying. But yeah, that's awesome news. Dame, I think, is incredibly deserving. Last year we had Giannis, right?
He was on the
Giannis.
Legend Edition, I believe. Or no, I mean, I know it was
It was
Anthony Davis for sure.
Anthony Davis was 2K20. Giannis was 19, and then we had Kyrie was 18.
Yeah.
That to me sounds right.
hmm
Okay. Yeah, but yes, Dame is totally deserving, and it's still Dame time. It is still Dame time. But unfortunately for some guys, it's not their time, and they're already deciding that they're going to withdraw from playing in Orlando. Kyrie was the first to announce that he wasn't going to be playing.
Hold on,
Um,
before you keep reading this list, let me stop you right there.
okay.
Because he was never going in the first place. He has not been medically cleared to play. He's not healthy enough to play from his injury. And then he wanted to make the whole headline situation of saying I'm withdrawing because it's taking away from, the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's going on and has been going on in our country, which, whether you agree with that or disagree with that is up to you. But he was actually never cleared to play in the first place. The Nets announced weeks ago that him and Kevin Durant will both not be going.
Yeah. Well, I knew KD wasn't going to be there, but I had thought that Kyrie was
No.
cleared to play because he was the one. He even pitched the idea of having everybody start their own league.
Yes, but
You know.
that has nothing to do. By the time they would get that up and running, you'd be healthy. Like he's just fully not ready to play. He's on the injury list
Okay.
and
Yeah.
has been.
I thought Kyrie. No, I know, but I thought he was cleared and good to go, and that
Well,
he
that's my point. Is Kyrie wanted you to think that?
Yeah. Well, that's not the case,
There
but
you go.
so obviously Kyrie, but also joining him, or should I say the Nets in general, is DeAndre Jordan, who
hmm
announced just the other day that he came down with the virus, and so did Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't know if you saw that, but dude, the
I
Nets are
did
kind
not.
of they're hurting right now.
I
We
mean,
this was a team that they're not going to make it very far without
there
Kyrie.
you go.
But this is a team that's had a lot of excitement around them, and unfortunately, this dampers the situation a little bit more.
And you
Even
gotta
if those guys, I was gonna say, even if you have DeAndre and Dinwiddie playing, it's not like it makes the biggest difference in the world. You
I
still need at
mean,
least Kyrie.
it makes a huge difference in terms of them at least being a competitive team, but
Yeah.
uh,
Now they might just get
you
smacked.
also gotta yeah, you also gotta think that they're in Brooklyn, they're in New York, which is like, I know they're looking better nowadays, but was hit super hard with the virus. And I think,
Mhm.
I've had a lot of people text me and stuff like, oh, like this player's got it, this player's got it, this player's got it. Like, there's not going to be a season. They're not going to do it. Like, I guess a couple players on the Pelicans today tested positive. There's been some on the Nuggets. And it's like, yeah, as you test all these guys before they head back to the season, you're going to get some positive tests. Like, I don't, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be
It's not
that
gonna.
surprising, and
Yeah.
thankfully, a lot of these guys, for the most part, are asymptomatic. And this isn't happening for another 4 weeks. So, you test these guys now, you quarantine them now. Hopefully, they're healthy and good to go by the time the season starts. If not, they'll be able to join, a week or two into it.
Yeah. Right. I think a lot of people came into this, and I'm sure probably the players themselves were thinking, well, we should all be okay for the most part if we're all just going to be in this bubble and no one's going anywhere, no one's leaving the premises. But here we are, three and a half, pretty much a whole month before the season starts. These guys have been practicing, they've been playing. We saw Trae Young a couple weeks ago playing pickup. So you can't, although there is the quote unquote tracking rings, but you can't for now keep track of where everyone is and what they're doing and where they're going. I would think they still have some sort of freedom. I'm not exactly sure. I would think they all probably will be moving to Orlando or staying in their hotels within the next 2 weeks. I see just now too that the Denver Nuggets closed their practice facility on
Mm-hmm.
Saturday after a round of positive tests were conducted. Excuse me. The Nuggets had two members of the team's 35-person Orlando traveling party, which consists of players, coaches, and staff, initially test positive before the weekend shutdown.
Yeah, I just said that for the record, but it's fine.
No, you didn't say the
I
Nuggets.
said the Pelicans and the Nuggets. I said the
Oh,
Pelicans and Denver, excuse me, New Orleans and Denver.
okay.
But
I
it's
only caught I only caught on to
breaking
the
news here.
Nuggets or to the Pelicans. Only caught on to the Pelicans there. I'm sorry. I also see that their coach, Michael Malone, said that he tested positive. I did
I
not
did
see
not know. This is news to me.
that is news. So yeah, several players, big name guys. We've yet other than Kyrie, even though his injury and he's not even cleared to play, we have yet to see any big names decide to opt out. And we kind of touched upon this earlier, but Jason, I still think it could happen. I mean, all these guys, especially the younger guys, are seeing people go down with it. It's a risk. I mean, you're playing,
100%.
you're signing a waiver. Like, that if you play, you could get sick.
What
So
was
if
most shocking to me was Avery Bradley was one of the names that decided to withdraw already, and he's on the Lakers, who
mhm,
are favored to win it all, especially with him. He's a huge part of that team. Great defensive player. I was watching Jalen Rose talk about it on. I saw a Twitter video. He
mhm.
was on ESPN saying he doesn't think the Lakers can do it anymore without him. I guess
Really,
he was saying that he was a huge part in shutting down Patrick Beverley when they played the Clippers, and every time they played the Clippers, he had like 20 plus points or something like that.
who
And the
Avery?
Clippers, yes, and the Clippers are obviously one of the teams that the Lakers are going to have to get through to make it
Hmm.
to the NBA Finals, let alone face whoever they may face there.
Yeah.
Um, but there is some rumors going around that they may sign J.R. Smith, who LeBron obviously was teammates with in Cleveland for a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
we know how their last finals ended up.
It has.
But
Yeah.
regardless of that, I love J.R. Smith. I think he's a great character. He's he's damn good at basketball. You know, if you can get him open, and LeBron's great at finding guys when he needs to, and should be exciting to see if that happens. I've been kind of saying it all year a little bit. I was saying, you know, they're going to wait till the trade deadline, or they're going to wait till free agency, you know, whatever, try and pick them up at the last minute before they make this finals push. And it looks like it very well may happen. And Avery Bradley very well could have opened the door for him.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think that's the case. There is up until July 1st, so literally up until tomorrow, there's a transaction window for teams to make any signings or you know, free agency picks, whatever the case may be, um, prior to the season starting. Which that to me seems a little early, considering like, what if you have a guy? What if you have, you know, someone just drop out like a week before? That kind of screws you over, considering you can't make any last second, you know,
Well,
pickups.
I also think you got to look at it the other way, where it's they got to pick up these guys now, test them now. If they're positive, quarantine them before the season
That's true.
starts and make sure that
Yeah,
they're good to go. So
they'll
it's
need at least 2 weeks.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point. And yeah, JR hasn't played a game since, you know, 2018. So he's 34, and he'd been, I saw a video of him. I don't remember when it was. I want to say it was like like right after the season was postponed, and he was like shooting around, or it was like right around the time it happened. But he was like shooting around in a hoodie or something, you know, pulling a mellow, and was just like getting buckets. I mean,
Putting the
he's
work
still
in.
a beast. Yeah, he's a great pickup for the Lakers, and someone that LeBron has great chemistry with already back in Cleveland. So for him, that's an easy pickup, and I'm sure if LeBron, which I doubt, was considering calling this one out, that having JR back, you know, helps in that decision, and really gives him some positivity heading into the season if they are, well, not if, but now that they lose Avery Bradley. So the
Yep.
NBA, bit of a mess. You could say the same thing with MLB.
In the
You're gonna
world.
have players in the world. You're gonna have players calling it quits, not wanting to play. The good news is though is that we have the schedule. The schedule's been released. A reminder: teams will only be playing 8 games. So, in retrospect, these are probably some of the most important 8 games these teams have ever had to play, considering everyone is still in it, unless you're the Lakers or the Bucks. Are there any matchups that really stood out to you, Jason, or something that you're looking forward to?
I mean, it's hard to ignore. I think the first night is going to be just great because the first night you have Jazz Pelicans at 6:30. So you get I've always thought the Pelicans are one of the most fun teams to watch this year, even when Zion was hurt.
Was
Because, you
yeah.
know, they got all these, they're pretty much a whole new team this year with all the pieces they got from the Lakers and around the league and trying
Mm-hmm.
to figure it out. And now Zion is back, who is easily one of the most exciting players to watch, as everyone has known, even from his high school days, watching his mixtapes on YouTube. And then you also have the Jazz, where, you know, Rudy Gobert was that first guy who
Yep.
tested positive and really shut everything down. And, you know, Donovan Mitchell
Donovan.
got it, and there were reports saying he was going around, you know, not really taking it seriously, touching everyone, doing all this stuff.
Mm.
So I'm really interested to see their team chemistry and how
Right
that
off the bat,
works
game one.
exactly, because
Yeah.
they also have a really talented team and could make a playoff run,
Yeah.
depending on how they do. But you got to wonder what's going on with, you know, the Donovan Mitchell Rudy Gobert relationship and the team chemistry as a whole. It's
Mhm.
definitely something to look out for. And then at the conclusion of that game, you have Lakers Clippers. I mean, what more could you ask for it? That game speaks for itself. I don't really have to talk about it. I mean, it's star studded. It's been a great rivalry so far this year, um,
Yeah.
and should be interesting. And I think Kawhi has had enough load management. I think he's had enough time off. He might play a full game. I don't know. I guess we will have to see. And then after that, July 31st, I really like Rockets Mavericks. The Mavericks have been a really fun team to watch this year, as well as, the Rockets can always light it up, or they can, really be pathetic out there. It should be interesting to see. And then I hate to talk about them again, but the Pelicans again on August 1st at 6:30. You got Grizzlies versus the Pelicans. So you got Ja Morant versus Zion Williamson, number 1 and 2 picks from the NBA draft. And both those teams are actually competing right now for that 8th seed in the Western Conference. So that game's super, super important for both of those teams, and it should be a competitive battle. And I hate to say it, but none of the matchups in the East really intrigue me. I mean, Raptors Bucks doesn't really do anything for me. Any
Really?
six, yeah. I mean, the Bucks are just gonna win. The Bucks are gonna win that one. And then Raptors Sixers, we already talked about last episode, I believe, how horrible the Sixers are away from home. And I don't know.
Are they just gonna go 0-8?
They might. Who knows? But the Raptors. I don't know. Like without Kawhi, I know that they're putting up the same numbers, and statistically, they've made up for what Kawhi brought them. But I mean, that's sort of been the story of Toronto like forever. I mean, they've always been a top team in the East in the regular season. And then when the playoffs come around and when it really counts, with the exception of last year, they have not really performed. So they don't really get me going or anything. I'm really actually focused in on the Western Conference.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, one could also argue that the Western Conference has more competitiveness to it at the moment. I mean, you have so many
Certainly.
good teams over there in the West that are competing, whereas in the East, most people will assume, bet on, go with that the Bucks are gonna, take the cake over on the East. But you're right. On the West, you got a couple of teams that these 8 games are some of the biggest 8 games that they're gonna have to play ever, and that's a lot of what it comes down to. So you'd mentioned Ja Morant, and there was something that was announced recently in the news about having the
Oh, I know what you're talking
social messages on their jerseys in
about.
place of their last name, which I find to be an interesting move. I also saw too, and I'm sure you did, that the courts are have Black Lives Matter. It's going to say that on the courts.
I did not hear that, but that's awesome.
Oh, you didn't see? Yeah, yeah.
Mm-mm.
So they announced that.
Well, do you know
Uh,
why Ja Morant specifically was in the news for his jersey?
yes, I will. Yeah, I was going to say. He had an interesting message on his jersey. I won't say it, but anyone, you can go look it up. It was all over the news.
I'll say it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because he's got a point.
He said fuck 12 was
Yeah,
his message that he wanted to put on the back of his jersey.
yeah, and it was even photoshopped. Like you saw what it
Yes.
looked like. Interesting, really, really interesting on his end. He did issue an apology, which you had to figure was going to
coming.
be asked for of him. It was coming. But it's creative. And yeah, I just figured we should kind of touch up on that and see. I don't know if it's like if all players have to change their name or if it's optional. Would it look weird if some players have different, not their last name on their jersey and others do? I don't think it would, but up close and personal, maybe it'd be a little interesting. So that's still kind of up in the air. No, there's no official decision.
I think it could be sort of weird though, because let's say you got 15 guys on the team and 14 of them are doing it, and you're the guy that just has Smith on the back of your jersey. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
it's sort of a bad look.
Right. You're right. I think you go one way with it or the other. Either everybody rides or everyone's not. So we will see. It'll be interesting to see too if any of those decisions in the NBA crossed over to baseball. Will that happen? I don't know. We'll have to see. So we're gonna stick with some basketball here. This whole basketball conversation. coming up soon. We're getting excited. But for some of our Michigan State fans, our Michigan State listeners out there, some big news just
Huge
happened with
news.
Mr. Emoni Bates. Let's just say,
Yes.
yes, he verbally has committed to Michigan State. Finally, we got one. We're always in competition between Duke and all the other North
Kentucky,
Carolina, Kentucky.
Kansas. Yep.
It's the same old, same old. You got Izzo recruiting someone for a couple, a year or two, and things are looking good, and then they pull a Vernon Carey on you and see ya. They go to
Or a
Duke.
Jabari Parker and see ya at Duke.
Yeah.
But for
Or
those,
everyone, see ya. We're going to Duke.
yeah.
Thanks, Michigan State, for the hospitality.
I mean, Duke just writes bigger checks than we do. What can we say? But for everyone who doesn't know, Emoni Bates is like considered, one of the best possible high school basketball recruits ever. Like I think there's like the scoring a perfect 100 on like 24/7 Sports was like it's like LeBron, Dwight Howard, like Greg Oden, Emoni Bates, and like literally one other person. Like
There was a three-way tie for third.
well, no, that this is something different. So
Oh,
I'm talking
yeah,
about their rating on 24/7 Sports, but ESPN had a
ESPN.
list of their top high school basketball recruits since LeBron. First, they had
Mhm.
Kevin Durant. Second, they had Greg Oden. 3A was Derrick Rose. 3B was Emoni Bates. 3C was Anthony Davis. 6 was Ben Simmons. And 7 was Dwight Howard. So if you recognize any of those names, we're talking about a man who is in the company of those guys, and he has actually done something that none of those guys did, and he won the Gatorade National High School Player of the Year award as a sophomore in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And they say this kid could be in any draft class for the next, until he gets drafted. So next year after that, next 3 or 4 draft classes, they say this guy is the consensus number one. I mean, he is just a different breed, an absolute animal. Check out his highlights if you have not seen them. Plays very similarly to Kevin Durant, I would say. He's very long and tall, but he can. I mean, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can do it all. But Brandon, one thing that a lot of people are really wondering and pondering is, will he actually play at Michigan State? So what do you think? Do you think he's going to end up actually playing for us?
I think so. Like, I mean, how can you? Well, I mean, you can't say how can you not, but like, first off, he's 2 years away, right? 2022. So we just finished sophomore year of high school, which
Mm-hmm.
for you to think of that, think about how long ago that was, you, and think about where you were as a sophomore in high school, and then imagine like going to the NBA like next year or the year after that. Seems unlikely.
Yeah.
But let's just say too that he doesn't go right to the NBA, and he goes and plays at Michigan State. We're still talking 2 years from now, which is a long time. I off the top of my head, I can't even think of who's going to be on the team then. Obviously, Bates, the Cassius Winston, so to speak. But he's still got a lot of time ahead of him, and things are going to be interesting, especially with how basketball is going to be played. Like when you think of the college basketball season, I've seen a couple of tweets. I think like Jack Hoiberg tweeted it, or someone, I don't remember where I saw it, but it was like, if you want this, and it was like a picture of
wear a
like a Pat
mask.
Breslin, wear this, and it was a picture of a mask. Totally right. I mean, it's totally right. But you wonder, like, as the season, is there going to be a season, and everything kind of trickles into another. So,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it's a little too early to speak. I'm going to end up playing at least 1 year at MSU. Then again, that could change. It's a great question. You would think, though, like if you were already verbally committing this, I mean, how can you not? Unless he's.
I mean, it's
he was
happened
averaging.
before.
It
So
has happened. But he was averaging 32 points as a sophomore in high school. That's crazy. 32 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals. He's the only sophomore ever to win that award. Like LeBron didn't even do that. So I don't know. I
Yeah.
think he's like skinny though. Like he's really like
Well, you got to
skinny.
think he's a sophomore in high school. I mean, he hasn't been really hitting the weights and stuff and like working with college trainers or NBA trainers and stuff. And I mean, you look at Kevin Durant now, you say he's a skinny guy. Look at how skinny he was coming out of high school. I mean,
I know you
he's
saw.
big.
Did you see that video like Complex or someone tweeted the other day? It
No.
was like KD through the years. It was pretty cool. It was like him, like his rookie season, Seattle, and then they showed his transition game like to OKC, and then to Golden State. But I was gonna say like his game resembles that of Kevin Durant, and obviously KD's a tall, lengthily, skinny dude who's not huge, gonna
Exactly.
box you out by any means, but skilled, very skilled. So does just because he's a skinny guy doesn't mean he's not a great athlete by any means. But I would think if you're gonna go to the NBA right out of high school, you need a little meat on the
Little
bone, a little
muscle.
more muscle, a little
Uh,
muscle.
Yeah, but a lot of people have been wondering whether he would go straight to the G League, which is something that the number one prospect in the class of 2020, Jalen Green, decided to do, and the number 13 prospect, Isaiah Todd, who actually was possibly supposed to go to Michigan, and then ended up going to, I believe, don't quote me on this, might have been, I think it's some school in California, maybe USC or UCLA. End up deciding to go to the G League. And then the number 16 prospect, Daishan Nix, also decided to go to the G League. So this is something that's becoming more and more popular. And people were wondering, is this something Emoni Bates would do? And he was quoted saying that he's not looking into it too closely. He said, it's good for certain players. That's a lot of money, but I don't think I plan on doing it. It's definitely good for some people, but I don't think I'll head that route. And he added that he would rather play college ball than going to the G League. But yet again, Brandon, as you said, he's only a sophomore in high school. He's a lot of time to change his mind, change his perspective,
Hmm.
and possibly take that route.
Right. Is he even comfortable with the thought of going straight out of high school to the league? That's something you got to take into consideration too. I mean, I don't know. I'm not him. I don't know if he feels like he could already. I mean, we know how great he is offensively,
Mhm.
but what if he goes to the league and gets destroyed? But you got to think too. Well, is how much? What's his comfort level like? His season this year got cut short because of the virus, so maybe he wants more time, and he'll feel more comfortable. He gets a year under his belt playing college basketball at Michigan State. We just don't know.
That as well, and apparently, I guess after next year he'll be able to like graduate high school or something with the amount of credits that he has. So he's looking to reclassify into the class of 2021. He's currently in the class of 2022. And typically, when you reclassify, that opens up a route to go to the draft, but it actually does not apply to him because he will only be 19 years. You have to be 19 years of age and a year removed from your graduating class for that to happen. But
Hmm.
he would only be, someone did the math on this, he'd only be 18 years and 5 months if he were to be reclassified and a year removed and eligible for that draft. So he actually, even if he does reclassify, which is a route a lot of players take so they can go straight to the league, it's something that he can't do because it just doesn't match up with the rule. So I think there's actually a small chance that he may end up actually playing for MSU, which would be phenomenal. And even if he doesn't ever step a foot on the court of Breslin, um, I'm as an MSU fan, I'm definitely going to claim him still because every Ohio State fan loves to claim LeBron James because that's where he said he would have gone had that have been the case. So go green.
Yeah, go white. Yep. I'd hope to think that he does come into play, and he's still young and he's got a lot of time. We will see. But now we got to talk. The Red Wings Jason, and a little
Unfortunately,
some yeah, some unfairness there, huh? With the draft lottery, a lot of fans were upset, thinking that the Wings were going to get the number one pick and go with Alexis Lafreniere,
that
who
was
is
that was tough. It was a
was
tough
it tough?
pronunciation. Yeah.
What? No. What is it?
I mean, it's Lafreniere. It's like French. He's Canadian.
I totally thought it was like Lafreniere. I'm not
I
that
mean,
far off.
I'm sure you did think that. I mean, you phonetically really sounded it out. I'm very proud of you. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, whether his name is Lafreniere or Lafreniere, he will not be wearing red and white in Detroit.
Yeah. Yes. Right. That doesn't matter. But the Wings dropped down. They got the fourth pick in the draft. I guess you can't win them all. Detroit sports, you can't win them all. Our luck here in Detroit isn't great. Although the Tigers did just walk away with Torkelson at the number one pick. But so yes, the Wings dropped down to having the fourth pick to number 4, and Eiserman said that just because we have the fourth pick, like we still pick up a great prospect to be determined as to who that is. But it's not the end of the world. I mean, it's still the fourth pick, and like it's not horrible. But this guy, the Farnier, is supposedly
You might
the
as well just
like
call him Alex.
Alex is the next. He's the next best thing.
Yeah,
So
they've compared
that's
him to Sidney Crosby, so it'd be like really cool if we could have gotten him. But
yeah.
instead, a playoff team will be getting him, so that's great. Thank you, NHL, for setting up your lottery in a way where teams that are competing for the Stanley Cup have a chance to get a franchise piece. And I guess the Wings were like on pace before the season ended. We were on pace to have like one of the worst 3 seasons, like of all time,
Mm.
and we only had that 18.5% chance to get the first pick, which is sort of tough. Um, and the question is, Brandon, how do you fix this? You know what I mean? Because apparently
Yeah.
over the last 3 years, the Wings have moved down 9 spots total from like the places where they were supposed to pick. So
Right. And it's like completely unfair and against them because they're only getting worse. And
getting no help, yeah.
yeah, there's what can they do? They're not going to wake up and be a great team one day unless you can get the number one pick or a better pick. You're right. I don't know how that can go about being fixed, but it's something that they should adapt. And I don't know why that's not the case in the first place. Like why are some of the worst teams getting screwed over, and the teams that are the best at this moment in time, they have the better chance of still being good for a long period of time. It just doesn't make sense.
No. And I mean, like, sure, you can say, like, shut up, you're in Detroit. You had 25
We had
years
our
of
share.
playoffs and whatever, but like, fuck that. Like, this is bullshit. Like,
Yeah.
we should have one of the top picks in the draft and at least a better shot than uh Ottawa had, because it's actually interesting because the Senators had they also had San Jose's pick. So they had like I think a combined like 25%, 24.5% chance of getting um the top pick or in the top 3, and we only had an 18.5% chance. Meanwhile, we had the worst record in the league by far.
Yeah.
I mean, it just sucks. You know, who knows? Maybe they probably should. Personally, I don't think the teams that are gonna be invited for like the play-in, like they have like a play-in series before the playoff starts. I think it just should have been the 7 teams left out were eligible for the lottery, but instead it was including all of those teams in the play-in series and the 7 teams that got left out. So that's how you have a team that could compete for the Stanley Cup, walking away with possibly the first pick. And it just really made no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah.
The NBA does the lottery, the NFL does it by record. Who knows what the answer is, but someone's got to figure it out because this is not it.
Yeah. Right. Right. I think we'll definitely see um, some change, hopefully in the future. But Jason, if you want to talk about change, we know Brady left, and we knew that the Patriots were without their franchise player of the last, say, 15 seasons. But Cam Newton, I love it. I love it. I knew it was going to happen. Like, how could it not? Because the Patriots had Brian Hoyer, right? Who was
And
gonna
Brian Lewerke.
and Brian Lewerke. That's right. So I've seen it. You're right. I saw a couple of memes of like Lewerke just being the towel guy now,
Uh-huh.
and the water boy.
Yep.
Because now they got Cam Newton, which is awesome, and Cam looks great. By the way, like
Of course he looks great. He's posts his workout videos on Instagram like twice a day for the last 8 months. He's an NFL player and a Heisman winner. Like, he should be in shape.
But I'm saying, like, and you have to have this mentality, both physical and mentally, of it is like replacing Derek Jeter, right? I mean,
Sure.
You're
replacing Tom Brady. I'd like sorry to say, but he's bigger than Jeter.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. You are 100%. Replacing an icon of a player that who is still playing, by the way. It's not like he retired.
Nope.
Right? Brady's still out there. So for Cam, you got to be like, 2-a-days every day. Like, there's just a whole different mentality with this new role. I'm really excited to see Cam, how well he's going to perform after coming off this injury. His old coach, Ron Rivera, back with the Panthers, who Ron's now with
the Redskins,
Washington,
or the R words, excuse me.
Washington, basically came out and said, hey, like, this is your guy. Like, don't bet against him because he's the Cam Newton that we know. His MVP year back in 2015, like things haven't really changed other than, he was going through some issues with the front office and, things that were going on behind the curtain, but he's still Cam Newton at the end of the day. And if you're a Patriots fan, this is the one guy you needed, you wanted, and probably the only guy that you're like, okay, after Brady leaves, because you would think it's like the most disappointing, upsetting thing in the world for these guys. But here they have new life in Cam Newton, and odds are if he performs well, I don't see why they wouldn't extend him long term.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said is very valid, and I hate to be a Debbie Downer and a pessimist, but like, I hope I get proven wrong. You know what I mean? But I just don't see it. From what we saw from Cam after he came back from injury, was really struggling to get the ball downfield. His arm doesn't move the same after what happened to it. He was missing receivers, and he's obviously always a threat to run and stuff. But when you come back from injury, you're always a little bit more hesitant to truck someone, lead in head first, and you start worrying about the longevity of your career, especially the more miles you're putting on. But at the same time, I look at this same offense and it was like, well, the past couple of years, has Tom Brady really been airing it out? And the answer is no.
Right.
He has been throwing it 4 to 10 yards down the field and letting his blocking and receivers and running backs really do the rest. So, if they can kind of implement a sort of similar system for Cam, which I have no doubt that Bill Belichick will be able to do, greatest coach ever, regardless of how many times he's cheated. It could.
And how many times he hasn't smiled.
Yes. It could very well work out for him. It's just a question of, what's going to happen. Obviously, as we saw last year, that defense is phenomenal. That defense always holds up and creates a lot of opportunities for their offense. So it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens. But as of right now, I'm probably gonna get proven wrong by this, but as of right now, I think the Bills are gonna win the AFC East. I think they're the best team in the division. But I've picked against the Patriots many times and been wrong
Yes.
many times.
Well, how do you feel about this change of scenery though? Because like for a guy like Cam, right? He had his ups and downs, and then he was, but there were also issues that I think a lot of us as fans didn't know about. Like we didn't know what was really going on and how he was. They kind of went behind his back and they screwed him over. So I think like that, plus the fact with you're taking over for a legend in New England, I think it's like going to be unleashing a beast mode for sure.
I
There is a
mean,
lot. There's a lot of pressure.
that's what I was gonna say. There's another side of the coin where, as you said, you're replacing Derek Jeter, you're replacing Tom. I mean, you're really replacing the greatest
Tom
football
Brady.
player of all time.
Yeah.
Uh, and those
While
New
he's
England
still
fans,
playing.
yes, and those New England fans expect double-digit win seasons every year. They expect a Super Bowl appearance every year,
Nothing but the
every other
best.
year. It's a very hard role to walk into, so it's going to be interesting to see how he handles this diversity.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. All right, Jason. So it's been a great episode. It's been a great week of sports and news. It's been a lot of fun today. So let's end it with a little bit more fun to be had. Excuse me. So we're bringing back a classic segment here on Bagels and Locks. We will be doing the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse, but today's version is the four best valued picks on Cameo of the Apocalypse, plus one honorable mention that we each have for the worst deal that you can get on Cameo. So Jason and I will each give you guys four of what we think is the best bet, the best value for your dollar in terms of Cameo. For those of you who don't know what Cameo is, it's a service where you pay X amount of money for whatever the athlete, celebrity, comedian, whoever is charging. Typically, these are famous people, celebrities. And yes, they can send you a personalized message, whether it's a happy birthday, happy anniversary, congratulations on becoming a man, your bar mitzvah, whatever the case is there. But we've been looking forward to this one for a little while here. Jay, why don't you get us started and tell us your first pick?
All right. So for my first pick, this one is $50. 50. You probably went a lot cheaper than me, but my lowest. I did these from lowest price to highest price. So this is the lowest priced one. So strap in, folks. So lowest price $50. April and Phil Margera from Jackass and from Viva La Bam.
Viva La Bam.
Yes. And my thinking behind this is a twofer, right? So it's really 25 each. And they are just funny as hell. If you've never seen those videos or watched Jackass or Viva La Bam, I mean, they are just characters. The way she bickers at him and just his fat ass. I don't know. I just think they're just hilarious people, man.
I thought the one died. Like Vic or something? What was his name? Does it say his name on there?
No. But it says April and Phil Margera right here.
Phil.
Yeah.
Maybe Vito. There was a Vito character. Maybe it was the uncle or something. He was a clown on that show. He died. I'm pretty certain that he died.
I don't know. They're all hilarious. So.
They are. I love that pick. That's a good one. It's very under the radar.
All right. Give us your first pick here.
All right. So my first pick coming in at $20. This one shouldn't be a surprise to you, Jason, but how can you not? It is Shoe Nice.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know Shoe Nice, he's a YouTube creator. I don't know if he's still making YouTube videos, but his videos went viral at the time. He would everything and anything, Scotch tape, deodorant, chug like a handle of alcohol in like 20 seconds. You would just eat like
Just
cactuses.
consume everything.
Yes. And just a crazy, creepy dude. And for $20, I think that's a steal. Like you could literally say, "Hey, like I'll give you $30. Can you eat a notebook for my mom? It's her birthday." Or like, I just feel like your options are endless, and you can have a lot of fun with it. And for $20, that's a great deal.
Yeah, it's definitely more than just someone speaking a message. You can probably
Yes.
get them to eat anything. Um, so for my next pick, we talked about this one as well a little bit earlier, Brandon, but Kyle Massey from Corey in
Yeah.
the House and That's So Raven coming in at $60. I think it's a pretty good deal. I mean, this guy provided a lot of quality entertainment for me as a kid, and a lot of other people. Just a little flash from the past there. And, just imagine you send your boy you used to watch Corey in the House with just a video of Corey gassing him up just out of nowhere.
Yeah. That's so Raven too, though. That's the OG
Exactly.
right there. That's the OG right there. I wonder what he's doing now, Kyle
Making
Massey.
cameos, I
But is that
guess.
making money on Cameo? I like that. My second pick, a little bit cheaper there, coming in at $50.
Okay.
I didn't know if you know this, the Michigan State alum, Chris Hansen, host of what was it? To Catch a Predator? I think it was. It had been. I want to say that's what it's called. I don't remember. I used to watch when I was younger. But you know who Chris Hansen is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't seem that
Dateline.
excited. So. Yes. But he was the one who would there was the show where there'd be a cop who pretended to be like a 12-year-old girl, and then they would catch like these predators and show up. And then Chris Hansen would walk in the room and he'd be like, and the guy, like the perpetrator, would be like, "Oh my God." Like they know that Chris Hansen, like they're screwed.
We gotcha. It's like Ashton
Yeah.
Kutcher on Punked.
But like 30,000
Like
times
worse.
worse.
Yeah.
So $50, not bad. Not bad if you ask me.
All right. My next pick, I have it was listed at $50 and then on her page it's $79. So I got a little bit catfished here. I'm kind of upset about it. But I'm going to count it as a $50 one because that's what I was misled. But it is Netflix's the Tiger King's own Carol Baskin. That bitch Carol Baskins. You can get her to say anything you want other than probably that she killed her husband. I'm sure she won't agree to that one.
Yes.
But hey, all you cool cats and kittens, she'll say that for you. She'll let you know at your bris, at your graduation, as you said, at your bar mitzvah, whatever it may be. I mean, she is one of the most you like that one? I mean, she's one of the most popular people in the world right now. I think, for only 50 or $79, whatever it is, that's a pretty good deal.
That's a steal. That's a deal. I like that. All right. My third pick is someone that I don't think most people will know, but it's someone that you should know. You should look up and do a little bit of research. It is coming in at $40. Badlands Chugs. So this guy, Jason and I have talked about him before. He used to be a competitive eater. He's just a big dude, a big guy. And he has a YouTube page called Badlands Chugs. And I guess he's Badlands. And he chugs things. So he drinks like the boots of like Gatorade and like ice cold Sprite from McDonald's and like crazy things. It's great entertainment. $40. I think you can't beat it. He's also a rapper. You can listen to his music on Apple Music. I saw it right away and I was like, wow, I got to do it. So Badlands Chugs.
It's basically Shoe and Ice 2.0.
It is Shoe and Ice 2.0. A safer, healthier option, if you ask me.
All right. My last one, we were a little pressed for time. I'm sure I could have found a better one, but it's not bad. $100, shelling out the big bucks here for Larry Brown, who was the coach of the Pistons when they won the championship. Also worked with Allen Iverson. He's a Hall of Famer. Great guy, and I don't know. I personally love basketball and the Pistons. I think it'd be cool to get a message from him. And if
Yeah,
100's the top end, there you go.
it's not bad at all. $100. All right, my last pick here. This is someone that you know, Jason, but I don't think he's a widely known name per se. But also coming in at $100, we have
Chris Catton
yeah,
from
Chris Cat from Night at the
Night at the
Roxbury.
Roxbury. For those who are listening and not watching, Brandon was doing the
The
little
dance. Oh,
head dance from
yeah. If you've seen that movie, if you haven't, it's a classic.
yeah.
It's
Will
Chris.
Ferrell and Chris Catton. Yeah,
Yep. Will
great
Ferrell's in
film.
it. They are just two.
Oh, What Is Love? That's the song. That's the song they're doing it to.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
$100, you can get him to do it. I'm sure everyone asks him for
Also,
it.
pretty famous from Saturday Night Live too. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I like that one. I was looking at
Yeah.
that too. All right,
Yeah.
so to finish out the show here, we have our honorable mentions, and these are the worst bang for your buck. Remember, so something we do not suggest you go out and purchase. But mine is for $100, so same price as Larry Brown. But keep in mind, this is Fiona the hippo of the Cincinnati Zoo. I'm not kidding.
Oh,
Look it up, cameo.com/Fiona the hippo.
the
And
hippo.
it's literally a baby hippo. And I guess now that I'm reading it, she is the smallest hippo that has ever survived. And all the proceeds go to the zoo directly. So that's pretty cool. But at the same time, she can't talk or do anything for you. She's probably just going to yawn or like eat a watermelon or, what
Oh
she
my.
can't say, Mazel tov,
Anything.
Brandon. Great job at getting a 30 on the ACT. She can't really help you out there.
Oh my gosh! Wow, that's got me stumped because it makes my honorable mention look horrible.
Oh, come on. I'm sure you got
But
a good one.
well, I do. Okay, so this is by far the most expensive person I've found on Cameo, clocking in at $1,200. So right off the bat, intriguing. $1,200. We have Mr. Wonderful, aka Kevin O'Leary, the Shark Tank shark.
Of course he's $1,200, dude. Are you kidding me?
First off, he's like it'd be cool to get his cameo, but for $1,200,
He's a businessman, man.
dude. But he's probably a billionaire. I mean,
yeah, it's
seriously,
a little much there, Kevin.
Who's getting his cameos? That's the biggest ripoff there is.
I think I'd rather have Cubes too. I'd rather have Cuban.
Actually, I take it back. The couple of his videos here that he's got on his page shows him doing it from the Shark Tank room, like the studio.
Oh, so that makes it worth it?
It makes it a little bit better. I mean, at least he's not shitting on you in his probably gazillion-dollar mansion, outside on his yacht.
I think I'd rather have that because that shows he's taking time out of his day. This is in between fucking sets and people pitching him shit. He's like, oh, I'm gonna make money right now while I'm making money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He just had it. Yeah, he just had a bite of a sandwich, and he's like, oh wait, I forgot that I got to do this.
I hope he responds quickly for $1,200.
Bro, let's see. Responds in 2 days. So, I guess for $1,200, you got to think ahead. Otherwise, a little tough. Kevin will screw you over. I like his description though on his page. 4-time Emmy Award-winning Shark Tank's Mr. Wonderful, 3-time best-selling author, CNBC contributor, winemaker, guitar dude, and photographer.
Well, I guess if you consider all of those things, he is worth the $1,200.
I guess so. Who would have thought? Guitar dude and photographer. But yes, Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. Not my cup of tea for $1,200. Jason,
Brandon,
this was a blast. I love getting to do that sketch today. But yes, so we got some news that's locked down and in place. Baseball's back. The NBA is coming back soon. Um, there's going to be exciting things to discuss these next few episodes and over the next few weeks. So I'm excited. Jason, I know you are too. Any last words today to sum up any of your excitement, anything that's been going on? How do you feel? Let us know.
All right. Well, Emoni
Clearly,
Bates.
you don't feel anything. No, I thought you were going. I thought you were going right to the end there. Okay.
No, no.
Sorry
Emoni
to steal your
Bates.
thunder.
I'm super excited about that. Go green, go white. Everyone rocking backwards hat gang. Make sure to continue your support. Send me those Snapchats. Put it on
Yes.
Instagram, Twitter. Hashtag BHG. There you go, Brandon. Putting it on over the headphones. Very
Just a little.
stylish. I got mine under the headphones. Actually ordered a new hat yesterday. Maybe you'll see it next episode. Who knows when this thing will ship with
Maybe
all
you
this
will.
corona. But yeah, man, it's been really fun. It's been awesome. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on both Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And that way you will instantly be notified when a new episode airs, and you can stay in touch with Bagels and Locks. But I think that will do it for today. Bagels and Locks was recorded by Brandon Rothenberg and Jason Silverstone, edited by the both of us, and shout out again to Eli Weil for our awesome theme music. See you next week, guys.